Welcome to Tip Tuesday. This is Will 20man. And today we're going to look at getting your child pipelines working properly. So first thing I'm going to do is get my face out of the way. And I have set up a custom report. If we look at our data, I've got this equipment pipeline. It's just got your equipment, manufacturer, model number, and basic test point information. And then I've also got the equipment specifications. So here you can see I've got all the various information out of our specs tab. And I've also got this main report set up to show the test point information, and we've got a sub-report for the specs. So what you would normally do, you click the link button to make equipment specs a child of the equipment, and it's going to map company and ID. We hit OK, we hit preview, and at first glance everything looks okay, but then when you zoom in you see 3 copies of calc type, 3 copies of calculate after. That looks a little odd. So I'll go look at my equipment, go look at the specs, make sure I've got everything sorted, and I have 1 of each. Things are definitely looking odd. And so, natural question is going to be, what happened? Well, what happened is, on this link, we have 3 options for the SQL. Magic SQL is the default. This gives you the most efficient SQL-wise result. What it does is it grabs all the data for both pipelines in one SQL statement. And so if I copy this into ISSQL, you'll see here this is pulling in 3 copies, and the reason why is because we've got this left join on the test points. So if I pull in test points.line, no, you can clearly see I've got 1 record per test point, and that gives me 3 copies. So anytime you have multiple copies because of joins or whatever happens, this scenario can pop up, and it can be really confusing. The way you fix that is to switch it over to Parameterize SQL. Now what this is going to do is, for each parent record, each time you call the subreport, it's going to issue a separate query. And so it's going to have more chatter back and forth with the database, but now we only have a single copy. We also have a third option, which is the manual SQL. This is the scenario where you can type in whatever you need to do in order to make things work properly. Typically, you're not going to want to do this. So you're going to want to just avoid this option entirely. But the Parameterized SQL, this is going to be your big trick in order to fixing a lot of these strange scenarios where I've had a report that existed, it had a bunch of joins, and now I have to do a subreport. And so this Parameterized SQL gives us what we do, or what we needed. So, the other alternative you could do is you could just grab your test points, grab company, ID, number, hit OK, then come here, and we'll delete our test points. And now what you can do is have both of these linked, and we'll do it with the Magic SQL. And now in my design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of this. And I'm going to add a second subreport. And we'll point that at our test points. We'll have specification shift relative. And so I can just bring in this information and hit preview. And now I get my test points and my specification. So if I can restructure my data so I only have one record in equipment per specification, or per batch of specs, per batch of test points, that's the other solution, is to avoid using any kind of joins in the equipment by having multiple tables that would result in multiple rows. So those are our two options, and I hope you enjoy the video.